SportsBit is powered by BetOnline, driving the opening odds market since 2001. Visit sportsbookreview.com to learn more about BetOnline and its A+ rated platform in the link below.
Big game breakdown here on SportsBit. Yeah, Monday Night Football, Falcons and the Seahawks, Seattle. -1, a couple of 1.5 still out there. Total bouncing in the 46 range here on Monday morning. So Seattle still the chalk, but all the money so far has come in on Atlanta. Well, why is the money coming on Atlanta? Simple. We're talking about not one, but two impact injuries for the Seattle Seahawks, plus a Falcons statistical profile that the wise guys seem to love. Let's flash this graphic right here, okay? This is the Seahawks pass defense in the Richard Sherman era. Every year, number 3, number 1, number 3, number 3. Last year, down to number 13, they weren't as good. And of course, Cam Chancellor was hurt. Earl Thomas was hurt for stretches last year. These, of course, Football Outsiders ranking. So far this season, they've been the number 7 pass defense in the NFL. So upper echelon, no question. Now, you're going without Richard Sherman, who started all 89 of those games that we were talking about. Cam Chancellor, also out for the year. Now, Earl Thomas is expected to return tonight, but let's not forget, they're already missing Pro Bowl defensive end Cliff Averill, who's a big part of their pass rush. So we're talking about Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Cliff Averill. Those are 3 impact injuries for a defense that has basically carried the team. Pete Carroll, quote, "Sherman has been a bastion of consistency, competitive, and toughness. We're going to miss the heck out of him." Seattle, they did bring back Byron Maxwell. He started for them in 2 Super Bowl seasons, but he's had a rough go since leaving Seattle. He got benched after 2 games into the season by the Dolphins and then released. Maxwell has a chance to come in and play fairly well. I don't know if it's going to be as good, obviously, as the talent that they've lost. And it's not just a talent downgrade for Seattle, but their defensive playbook becomes more limited, missing key multi-year starters, Pro Bowl type players. You know, and make things easier for Matt Ryan. And when we talk about all the struggles of that Seahawks offensive line this year, that hasn't been good. And we think back, when has Seattle really looked good this year? I'm trying to remember. Has there been a game that they've looked good on both sides of the football? There hasn't. They had a couple of decent offensive games. The Texan game stand out against the bad defense. They've had a couple of good defensive games, but 4 good quarters of football for the Seahawks this season, we haven't seen it. Not even once. Meanwhile, here's Atlanta, and they might have gotten a little bit of swagger back, beating Dallas last week. Of course, the Cowboys had key injuries, but that doesn't necessarily matter for the Falcons' confidence level. They needed a win, and they needed a win where they didn't blow a lead. Dan Quinn, quote, "I like the chemistry that's starting to happen on the 17 team. It's taken longer than I wanted it to, but I think we're starting to get there." And remember, this team from a yards per play differential, which is the stat the wise guys love. The wise guys are going to make bets based on this stat alone at times. How much you gain on offense versus how much you allow on defense, that yards per play differential. Well, Atlanta gained 6.2. They've allowed 5.1. Like last year, that is the number 1 yards per play differential in the league. And like last year, plus 1.1, right at the same spot as the Falcons were in their Super Bowl season. Vic Beasley, quote, "Last year, we kind of came along late in the process. This year, we were hoping to get off to a hot start, but the team was kind of up and down. But since the Jets game, we feel like things are meshing together. We're doing a better job limiting the number of errors we're making." Here's the truth of this game. Tried to make a case for Seattle, didn't get there. Don't believe in Atlanta, didn't get there either. Total, lean over, don't love it. Not with the Seahawks offense, not with the success of the Falcons defense. So you know what I'm doing with this Monday Night Football game, folks? I'm breaking it down, and I'll be watching it. Maybe we'll find an opportunity in live wagering. Pre-kickoff, I got nothing. Coming up next, college hoops in late night action. North Carolina versus Stanford, right here on SportsBit. Betting Insight today.